First of all, David, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to having the Rebels back in town, an undefeated Ole Miss team. How's everything going to start the year?
Great, Roger. Good to see you. Looking forward to getting over to Tuscaloosa, see what we can do this time around with the Crimson Tide. It's been a tough place for us, obviously, through the years, but we're excited about getting our SEC slate started.
What have you made of the Kiffin era matchups so far between Alabama and Ole Miss? Really tight in Oxford, but yet in Tuscaloosa, that one game in 21, the Crimson Tide won handily.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think, there's a lot being made about former assistants against him. Even Sark said that, well, what about everybody else? I mean, Nick's been super good. He's a great coach, and Coach Saban has, put a lot of people out there, so to speak. And so he runs into them a good bit. I think that Lane has had a good plan both times going in. Sometimes that plan works. Sometimes it doesn't. Alabama's still loaded with a lot of talent. I know there's a lot of smoke going on about, trying to figure out what's going on this particular season. They haven't been perfect yet. Well, it's kind of hard without preseason games to be perfect out of the gate. But I think that the talent's there. It's a great team. And in years past, whether it's been Lane's teams or some of the other coaches we've had, the formula to have a shot has been get exceptional quarterback play. We got that out of Chad Kelly that one year. You got to be extremely physical. Match physicality, I think, is important too. And to be honest, you got to have a break or two when you play Alabama, especially in Tuscaloosa. So I think that's pretty much still still true today.
Absolutely. So a lot of familiarity with this Alabama and Ole Miss program, of course, with Coach Kiffin. How about with Pete Golding? How is he fitting in to Oxford after spending time at Alabama as defensive coordinator?
I think really well. Pete, Mississippian, was at Delta State for several years and loved that area. In fact, we did one of our road trip stops in Cleveland. He went and spoke, and the people just were crazy to get him back in the state and all of that. So it's been a huge addition for us. We've been laughing about it being a coaching portal transfer, to that extent. But really good defensive guy and has done a pretty good job of putting together, which has been a hodgepodge of portal transfers and all. But we've improved our situation on the defensive side pretty dramatically.
Who are some of those playmakers on the defensive side of the ball we can keep our eye on Saturday?
Well, I think, we've got a great rotation in the defensive line, which through the years we have not been able to do that. But we've got a rotation of about 8. And Jared Ivey's been really, really good off the edge. Been fun to watch. J.J. Pegues has been tough inside and transferred from Auburn a couple of years back. And we moved him over to the defensive side, and he's done a really, really good job. So you got that kind of going on amongst some others there. From the defensive back standpoint too, they went out and wanted to get taller in the defensive backfield. So went out and signed a bunch of 6'1", 6'3" or better type guys in the backfield, brought them all in, turned some of them into corners, turned some of them into safeties, and we've seen some good play. Of course, Prince is really, really good back there for us and had a wonderful game against Georgia Tech. Probably one of the main reasons we won is his breakups in the end zone and what have you. Got Zamari Walton, who came over from Georgia Tech. It's an outstanding corner too. Linebacker wise, not quite as deep in that area, but we've got some good ones there, and we're hoping that they'll continue to mature as we move along. But a lot of portal transfers as everybody's kind of seeing these days, and it's been amazing to me how this team on really both sides of the ball has kind of gelled relatively quickly with the portal guys.
Then on the offensive side of the ball, another portal guy we could talk about, Jackson Dart, starting quarterback for the Rebels. What's he done best through the first 3 games?
Well, 2 years in a row, he's gone through pretty heavy competition before the season started. And I think it's, sharpened the iron, so to speak, a little bit with him. But very gifted, makes all the throws, can run too if he needs to. Good touch, good deep ball, reads the defenses really, really well. He's an exceptional quarterback. I think he's kind of running under the radar from a national standpoint. Me, Roger, I'm looking through red and blue glasses. But the truth of the matter is, I think he's one of the better quarterbacks we've ever had. I mean, he's really exceptional and does a nice job. I think that he's got a good grip on the offense. He and Lane are tight. Lane really gravitates toward the quarterbacks as he has throughout his career, especially having been an offense coordinator for so long. But Jackson's been good. He's hit his targets really well, and he's dealt with pressure really well. So we hope that he can continue to do that.
And then we saw Quinshawn Judkins really emerge last year. I know we talked about it in our preview before Alabama Ole Miss a year ago, one of the best running backs as a freshman in the SEC. And it seems like there is no sophomore slump for him to this point.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He's getting some touchdowns. Doesn't have quite the yardage. I think a lot of people are focusing on him. We haven't run the ball quite as much, but I think what we have done is and that makes sense. Obviously, when you got a Judkins, maybe the best running back in the nation, people are going to focus on that. They're going to load the box and try to stop you. But we have thrown the ball exceptionally well. So we've shown here in these early games that if you do that, then you can be hurt through the air with Dart and some of these receivers.
Yeah, speaking of the receivers, who's kind of emerged out of that group, or the tight ends that have gotten involved in the passing game?
Trey Harris scored 4 touchdowns in the first game against Mercer. Of course, that's lesser competition, but he broke the school record for TD catches in a game. He caught the first touchdown against Tulane as well, and then went down to a light knee injury. He was in practice again this week, so we anticipate having Trey back for the Alabama game. Trigg has been at tight end with Kyron Heath. We've been down a tight end. Prescorn, the transfer from Memphis, has been out, but he's back in practice. They really have told us kind of from camp to now that he'd be back for the Alabama game. Now, what capacity that'll be, I don't know. He had a foot injury, but so we should have those guys back. Walton has just been outstanding. He's done a really, really nice job. Wade has 2. So that's been a good group of guys you can throw the ball to. We haven't blocked as well in the tight end position. So hopefully getting Prescorn back will give us a little bit better blocking there.
So we're certainly excited for Alabama against Ole Miss coming up in football. And David, I'll let you go on this basketball question. We're now less than 50 days away, of course, from tip-off of the season. And it seems like in Oxford, there is a lot of anticipation for the first season for Chris Beard as the head coach of the Rebels. I understand probably haven't been to too many practices or things like that just yet, but what's the excitement level around Ole Miss basketball as it's, again, just around the corner?
Yeah, really, really high. I think that people are super excited that Chris is here. He's had a ton of success. What little I've had a chance to be around him, the first thing you say is he's all about ball. I mean, he loves the sport and trying to maximize everything he can to be successful. And he's been fun to watch to this point. I've had him on a couple of Rebel road trips, and one of them, he told him, he said, "You better get your tickets this year because it may be hard to get next year." So he's confident as well. And I know that's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but I think we're going to win a lot of games. They brought in some really good players too, and then really on the women's side too, Coach Yo's done a great job the last couple of years with our women's program. So our fans in general are pretty excited about the start of men's and women's basketball.
He'll be here before we know it. David Kellum's the voice of the Ole Miss Rebels, as well as the baseball team as well. We look forward to catching up with you again down the road, but safe travels to Tuscaloosa coming up this week. We look forward to the ball game between Alabama and Ole Miss. Thank you for your time.
All right, Roger. No problem. Looking forward to seeing you in T-Town.